Welcome back, true believers. This is part 2 of the best Marvel thing.
Show. Live action thing.
Show. Well, it could be animated.
He
What?
said no.
I gotta change my answer now.
No,
He
I
said
know.
no boundaries. You went already.
No, all right.
Oh,
So,
shit, yeah. Oh, shit. I forgot.
well, Blade was your choice, Jay.
It's so hard when the pickings are so good.
Yes. Guardians of the Galaxy for Shannon and Endgame for Shannon. Guardians of the Galaxy for Tony.
Right.
So those are the 3.
Can I throw in an honorable mention?
Sure.
Well, somebody else is going to say it, so.
All right. Well, let's see. Lee George Cade, everybody. All right.
I'm going to go because I know Rebecca has a whole presentation involving a slideshow.
I'm excited. I'm very excited to see this.
All right.
All right.
So I'm agreeing with Jay that the single most important was Blade because again it allowed us to get to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, which became the first very successful of the new modern Marvel movies.
True.
But my choices are kind of strange. Like I actually think the most significant thing that has come out of all of this stuff, it started with WandaVision. I was like, it's WandaVision, and then it went over to Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I'm like, and I was like, oh, it's that, and then it dawned on me, What If is probably the single most significant thing that they've done.
What If,
because they have set up everything through What If. There's so much that's going to show up in Doctor Strange. There's so much that they already started teasing in Spider-Man No Way Home that started in What If. And it's an animated series, so they could take the training wheels off and say, let's play with this. Let's get our talent in. Let's do some amazing animation. Let's do something fun and unfamiliar that no one's actually going to take too seriously because it's animated. And it turns out that it's the genesis or the seed kitchen for all of these really bonkers way out there things. Because of that, we're able to do Evil Doctor Strange without a backstory. Because of that, we can take the training wheels off. We can throw Marvel Zombies in, and all anybody has to say is, oh, they did it on the cartoon. So I think that's...
Well, and what else is cool about that is you can refer to them to cartoon, and it's only like 27 minutes. It's not like they have to watch.
That's true.
3 movies.
It was one of the most daring and bold things that Disney could have done while running Marvel, was to say, let's go ahead and use this as our test kitchen.
I like. Okay.
Yeah. Now, my favorite is actually a 1-2 punch. It's a duology of movies. And this, to me, is what I always find myself going back to. And it is a movie that starts with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which I think actually
always go to that one.
Gave us the stakes. It gave us the heart. It gave us... Everybody says that it was Baron Zemo who destroyed the Avengers. It was loyalty that destroyed the Avengers. It was Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes going to the end of the line together. And it culminates at the end of Civil War. That's my 1-2 punch. Civil War, Winter Soldier, Civil War. That's where the stakes are laid out. That's where the heart and the soul of everything is laid out. That's where the schism between Tony and Steve pops up. That's where literally you have one guy who's like, we got to do what's right. And you got the other guy who says, we got to do what's right by our people. And you know where I'm going with that. You always have to do what's right by your people.
That's true.
So
what is your pick?
It's literally Civil War, I think, is the most...
Civil War.
My absolute favorite of all of the Marvel movies, because you're going to have somebody who's going to choose friendship over even saving the world, right?
All right. Okay, there's Lee's pick. Rebecca, if you would.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
Okay, everybody. I said,
hang on, let me share your
let
screen
it in.
up
Let the screen share in.
Chill out,
so
yo.
She's got a whole presentation here.
Welcome to Rebecca's The Marvel Movie Award.
There we are.
Okay. I've got 4 categories. I have Best Origin Adaptation, Best Character Adaptation, Best Comic Adaptation, and Best Movie.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, hey,
Best Origin Adaptation. Thank you.
There we go.
So my Best Origin Adaptation goes to a little movie I call Captain Marvel.
There we go. Okay.
Because they did so many things to take this comic and put it into the MCU, and it is so beautiful. Like, they gender swapped Marvell. Jan Rog was a trusted peer. It perfectly captured Kelly Sue DeConnick's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
You combined, a cosmic explosion with some existing MCU lore. Flips the Kree Skull Roar into a refugee story. And there's a presentable supreme intelligence. So
Okay. All right.
that's my best origin adaptation.
Best origin. Okay. So let's see what you got next now.
That was the thing that surprised me the most, I think, was the changing of the Kree Skrull War. It
came so out of left field. It came so out of left field. It was, to me, it really was the introduction of that we've seen in a lot of Marvel stuff since then, especially No Way Home, of, hey, not everyone's bad. Like, people you think are bad guys, they're not bad guys. I think that really set the pace for that.
Okay.
Next, I have my best character adaptation. The person that we think best embodies their characters is going to go to our man Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark.
Oh,
I have some honorable mentions: Tom Holland, Peter Parker, and Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, because I think they both do a phenomenal job of embodying their characters.
I agree with all of those choices, especially Tom Holland. I think that he, I mean, honestly, he made me a Spider-Man fan again. I kind of fell off.
I will give you that. Yeah.
I kind of fell off of Spidey until I saw him, and then I went.
We talked about that when we were watching No Way Home, because we didn't get to see it until it had been out for quite a while, and we're just like literally making the first two Spider-Man actors. I mean, they were great, they were wonderful, but that chemistry between the three of them, the cement that held it together, was the sincerity of Tom Holland and Peter Parker.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Rebecca.
All right, I just made a quick update to this one.
Culmination. Hey, that's part of my trade.
This is the award that I think really translates comic to movie screen.
Okay.
Whoops, and oh my gosh,
Come on,
it's gonna be our friends, the Avengers.
All right.
This was the first. I love an OG tale. I think this really best represents, like, hey, these are the Avengers as we know them, and they're all together. Don't you feel like you're watching a comic book? Pretty fun.
It really did. Yeah,
they got it done.
And and they did it well. That was why I stood up and said I'm getting a tattoo. When this scene happened right here, I went, we can do it. We can do these things,
Yeah. It was
All right.
It's an extremely good movie. And now, best
This is
movie.
the one. Okay.
This is the one.
This is your pick.
The award goes to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
I forgot. How did I even forget that movie? It's so good.
Yeah.
As soon as I remembered it during the break, and I was like, "That's the one."
I couldn't give it to this one because I hate the Wilson Fisk design.
Oh no! This movie.
I can't stand the brick wall.
That's
So
Bill
this movie-
Sienkiewicz. That's Bill Sienkiewicz art, man.
This movie could easily sweep all of the previous categories. Okay. Really, the previous categories are the runners-up. An A+ cast. It meets the criteria of the Comics Code Authority. There are so many Spider-Men. It reflects the current and ever-changing culture that we presently live in. Innovative animation. They had to patent new animation for this movie.
Yes, that's true.
So true.
It's beautifully meta, and it makes me cry, it makes me laugh, and it gives me goosebumps literally every time I think about it.
Yeah.
That's true. All true. Excellent job.
I took my son to see that movie, and to see him, like, at the time he had his hair like Miles Morales, like everything about it, I was like, my son really gravitated towards that movie. So yeah.
And also another thing about that is best soundtrack.
Best soundtrack is fire. I still work on it.
Any Marvel movie.
My nieces love it. They insist on listening to it all the time. They love it.
Yeah, my oldest watches it pretty much constantly. So.
Well, now my pick.
Oh shit.
Here's the thing. I'm really bad at this because I love them all. Even Thor: The Dark World.
It's a bad movie. Yeah, it's not bad.
Love them all.
It's fine.
I love the Ang Lee Hulk.
Okay, well, you got to draw the line somewhere, Carrie.
I love them all.
Fuck Ang Lee.
I love them all.
I like Eric Bana Hulk.
I love them all. So that it's hard for me to pick one.
Eric Bana as Bruce Banner wasn't the problem with that movie.
Eric Bana's great.
It was everything else. Everything
fine.
else.
Nick Nolte showing up as himself.
Oh man,
as like a fart monster at the end.
He was the first of the CGI. It was literally the first of the CGI poop monsters.
yeah,
That's true.
Yep.
Again, that movie works if you shut it off after he gets captured in San Francisco.
Yep.
If you just turn it off there, it
Yeah.
works.
Honestly, that movie,
Anyway.
I was so excited because I loved Eric Bana. Like I saw him in that at Sundance in Chopper, right? Mm-hmm. And he gets up and goes, "I'm going to be Bruce Banner." Right, and it was actually in a Salt Lake screening at the Cinemark before it was like all fancied out. Mm-hmm. And I walked up and I shook his hand. I'm like, "You were great in this," and I love the Hulk so much. I'm so excited. And then it came out, and I'm like, "Fuck this shit."
Let me tell you, the Hulk movie is the movie that Green Lantern fans look at and say, "Well, could have been worse."
Right. At least there was no fucking Hulk poodle in it.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. All right. Get back
Okay.
to my pick. All right.
Yeah.
I made some notes about all of the amazing things in this one. Because if I'm picking one, I'm picking Captain America: Civil War.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
From the beginning to the end, everything about this movie pops, and everybody has a moment. Everybody gets a character development moment. Everybody gets service in this movie.
Okay.
The beginning with Tony and the woman at the elevator, where she says, "You dropped a building on my son." Such a powerful scene because you got two incredible actors there. Then you get to see an Avengers team that is working as a well-oiled machine. You've got Cap, Widow, you've got Scarlet Witch, and you've got Falcon. And all of them there working together.
And also, Black Widow's sitting there going, "Why don't I have some fucking armor?"
Yeah. and everything about that. And you can tell that they've been practicing, because he says to her, "Is that thing we've been practicing? Whew, yeah, let me hurl Cap up into the building." So they've been doing missions. You can tell this is a well-oiled Avengers team right there. Wanda makes just that slight mistake is the only thing. And it haunts her through the entire film that she did this. We finally get to see them
subsequently too.
We get to see the Avengers headquarters, and they're all there together.
Yeah.
And Vision's there wearing a sweater because he fucking lives there, And they're roommates, you can tell, because he walks through the wall and said, "Vish, stop doing that." And he goes, "Oh, the door was open. I thought, They're just roommates, and I loved every bit of that. What was also great about this movie is it combines real-world shit with comic book shit.
Yeah.
Because of, dun dun dun, the politics. I like the politics. They took this wonderful storyline from the comic book, they changed it, didn't fuck it up, made it probably better, I think, maybe than the comic book. And all this time that this shit's going on, Zemo's just planning.
Yeah.
And nobody's aware of it, really. He's just planning. He's just getting his shit together. Peggy's funeral, we got to see the plant your foot speech in real life, which was terrific. The no you move speech. There's a wonderful moment between Cap and Widow at the end of the funeral where, she's talking about who signed and who didn't, and she's going to sign. And he's like, "Well, then why are you here?" And she says, "I didn't want you to be alone." Oh,
Yeah.
God, just kills me. You can tell they're just friends. We get the introduction of the Black Panther, one of the most important characters in the Marvel comic book universe and MCU. I loved it, but I hope that they recast it and continue making Black Panther movies. But that's me. He goes from pro-accord to no accord in a moment's notice. Once his father is dead, then everything changes. Everything changes, and that just shows you how politics It's not just words on paper. It's all driven by emotion. You get the Cap and Sam dynamic in full effect. Again, this well-oiled machine. There's that killer part where Bucky grabs the motorcycle while the guy's riding it, flips it around, and gets right on top of it. I fucking love that bit.
Beautiful moment.
And then you go from that to Vision making paprikash for Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
In his little chef outfit, Zemo, so good that he's able to sneak.
So better later, too.
Yes, he's able to sneak into this secure facility. That's how good he is at planning his revenge, so that he can activate the Winter Soldier, and does. He's that good. And then we cut to a scene of him at a cafe listening to the voicemail of his wife, and we don't realize it yet that she is dead. But it's a nice little touching scene right there. We get our army of Winter Soldiers introduced. Even though we didn't get to see them in action, we get that introduced. We also get your introduction, your first look at Spider-Man. I fell in love with this introduction of Spider-Man, and I destroyed the theater with my tears and emotion when he's holding Cap's shield up on top of that car.
Hey, guys.
That was my wallpaper for a good month and a half.
Underoos.
But he also, in that scene where he and Tony kind of meet, he does the with great power, with great responsibility, without using those words. What he said is when you can do the things that I can do, but you don't, and then the bad things happen. They happen because of me. Boom! Oh, beautiful. I just loved it. Okay. Hawkeye versus Vision. And you get the Hawkeye-Wanda father-daughter dynamic going as well that we got introduced to in Age of Ultron. The fight at the airport. There are so many moments at that fight in the airport. You could just one of those moments could be the culmination of the end of a movie, but you've got dozens and dozens, and they're all on top of you. And Rhodey gets paralyzed, and they realize they fucked up. You also get the helicopter Iron Man thing, where he's in his helicopter, leans back, gets into his suit, and flies out the bottom of the helicopter. That was so comic booky. You get stealth Black Panther mode. And then Tony has to watch the videotape of his parents getting murdered.
Brutal.
Which, by this time Tony has realized that he's fucked up, and, we're all on the same team. But then when he sees his parents murdered and realizes that Cap knew, heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. Oh, it just kills you. And the best line in the movie, I don't care, he killed my mom. Boom! Yeah. Just right in the chest. Just get you right in the chest. You've got, then you get Zemo. He's achieved his goal. He's done his thing. And he is ready to kill himself. He's sitting outside with that gun, and Black Panther stops him from doing it, saying that I'm done letting vengeance consume me, and I think you should too. So it was a great moment, and it's the best Stan cameo because it doesn't drag me out of the movie, because it's the very end, and it's funny as fuck because he says, "Are you Tony Stank?"
Stank. Are you Tony Stank?
It didn't drag me out of the movie because it is at the very end, and it didn't ruin it for me.
And Carrie, you're making me. I needed to watch this movie again.
It's so good.
But everybody in the movie was justified in their belief system. That's the thing, is that you didn't have that guy's right, that guy's wrong.
Nope.
Everybody was right, and everybody was wrong.
And there's so many people that I still have the Team Cap, Team Iron Man conversation with who feel completely justified in believing Tony Stark was right. And I think that's such an interesting, because it tells me who you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell me you're a bad person. It just tells me who you are, right?
Well, and they adapted the original comic book storyline too, because it's not at all like the original comic book storyline, but they still take, the element of a civil war and put it on the screen, but made it relevant for the movie series.
It captures the spirit of it.
But then there's also there's a couple of scenes of them debating the Sokovia Accords. Yep. And they all make excellent points.
Yep.
And one of the things they did so brilliantly with that, too, is it was the first time we realized that we could have Avengers movies that didn't say Avengers on them.
Yeah. Oh, for
It really
sure.
was an Avengers
True.
movie.
It was
a
like
Captain
every
America
bit
movie.
an Avengers movie.
Yeah, we got to see Giant Man at the airport. We got, all of that. There's just, again, so many moments in this movie. Now, two of us have picked Civil War. That being said, I'm going to say Rebecca was right.
You know it, baby. You know it, baby.
She brought the receipts.
She did. She brought the
I brought
receipts.
the PowerPoint, so I have to be right.
I got to say, I think so.
Okay.
So write it down. Even though good cases were made for many projects,
Yeah, all of them
Spider-Verse
very
is the
good.
winner.
They're all very good, but Into the Spider-Verse, gotta be the winner.
All right. Again, I love them all. I can't pick a favorite. Each
That's
one of them.
good.
Each one of them have something in there for me, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I was really I had a really difficult time because my Winter Soldier is always my go-to. Like, if I'm going to watch one, I'm just going to always put on Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I love OG stuff, so maybe Iron Man is like...
The first Iron Man I thought about because
The Cap movies. The Cap
Yeah.
movies are probably 3-4 times a year. All three of them end up getting played in this house. So
Yeah, and the first one is especially good. It's just
Yeah,
such a
Joe
great
Johnston,
little
man.
origin movie.
All
And-
right.
But everybody made such great points. I thank you all. You're all amazing.
I got to change my vote then, I guess. So
Why?
The best 1990 Captain America starring Matt Salinger as Steve Rogers
You know, you joke, but Shannon and I actually watched it.
and Scott Paulin as the Red Skull. I watched that on TV so many times. It, for some reason, there was an era in the late 90s. Thank you. Where it got a fair amount of Saturday afternoon movie time play on the network television. So I've seen it a couple times.
I'm disappointed, though, that you're bringing all this up and you're not bringing up the incredible 1989 Trial of the Incredible Hulk starring Bill Bixby, Stan Lee, Rex Smith as Matt Murdock, and the indomitable John Rhys Davies as Kingpin.
You're right. I should have brought that one up.
That fucking Captain America movie
His fake ears.
with his rubber ears and
I'm looking
remember,
at a picture of it right now.
and remember there's that point where he goes, I think I'm gonna be thick.
He does that multiple times throughout the movie. Anytime he needs to get away from something, he's like, I think I need to be thick.
I think I'm gonna be
It's gonna be
thick.
thick. It's like, and your leading man, Captain America, has a speech impediment, and not a knock to anybody with a speech impediment, but did you not know this? I mean, even Roger Corman's Fantastic Four movie had more going for it than this.
Yes, it did.
I mean,
That was a movie that literally had a glove on a stick so they could do the stretching scene across the screen.
Oh,
don't forget about the classic acting chops brought to this movie by Ned Beatty as Sam Kolowitz.
and how did we leave out Dolph Lundgren's Punisher?
The Punisher,
That
you know?
tour de force.
They're classic.
Tour de
You know,
force. Shout out.
Him riding around in the sewers on in a motorcycle, going, "Why am I here?"
And the studio's refusal to put the skull on his chest. That's what I don't get.
Right.
Anyway.
And then, the movie that brought us Duck Nipples, Howard the Duck,
Oh,
in 1986.
Oh yeah, classic.
God,
That's a George Lucas, isn't it?
yes.
I
Yep.
never thought, I was like, at that time in my life, I was like, man, I never thought I'd jerk off to a duck.
First time for everything.
All right. Thank you all. You all did a wonderful job. Thank you. We'll see you next time.